All right, in this video, I wanted to compare 3 different pairs of sneakers that are really comfortable on my feet, and I honestly thought it would be a good comparison because of the price points, roughly around that $160, $165 range for these models. So we have 3 that I want to focus on: the New Balance 1080 V13, the latest and greatest fresh foam model. We have the Asics Gel Nimbus 25 with FF Blast Plus and Pure Gel in the midsole. And then we have the Nike Vomero 17 with Zoom X in the midsole. If you guys like these type of comparison videos, please leave a comment in the comment section and leave a like on the video and make sure you subscribe. If you guys want to buy any of these 3 that I'm going to be talking about, I will link them directly in the description of the video. And if you guys do use my links, it does support my channel directly. Always greatly appreciate when you guys do that. Let's go ahead and transition and show you guys these 3 models up close. So we'll start off with some general information about the Vomero 17s. This one is a dual density foam midsole, so you do have Zoom X in the top half of the midsole, but the bottom half I believe is Cushlon 3.0. It is pretty soft in hand, but the pairing that this thing offers really reminds me of like an updated version of one of my favorites, the Pegasus Turbo line from back in the day. The new Turbo Necks are okay, but this one is more comfortable in my opinion than the Turbo Necks. Decent traction on the bottom as well. And really this is like an elevated Pegasus in my mind because it is really comfortable. It is more soft and squishy underfoot than a regular Pegasus because of the Zoom X, and it is full length Zoom X as it says so in the shoe. But it is just all around like a better shoe in my opinion. So if 160 is not too much for you, then this is a superior model in my opinion. I've been wearing this model quite a bit, and overall I'd say it is a really fun experience on feet. There's obviously a lot of heel cushion in this model, and you do feel a little bit of pop off the forefoot as well because of the dual density. Overall, I would say the heel toe transition feels pretty good as well. And I'm speaking from a casual perspective, not necessarily for running, but I've been wearing these outside doing walks. And actually, I really like wearing these on the treadmill as well. When I'm running outside in them, it has a nice little pop when I'm transitioning heel toe. And it feels really springy. Like it feels like the most springy probably out of these 3 that I'm comparing directly out here. I feel like the Vomero 17s definitely deliver. It also does have a familiar heel section back here, kind of like the new running style that Nike has in their lineup right now, including like the Infinity Run 4s. I would say that these are softer on feet than the Infinity Run 4s as well, as I have done a review on those and I have those in my lineup as well. If I hadn't mentioned any cons about the shoe, just the overall structure, the upper seems to just get a little bit warped. Like right here, I noticed that this guard along the toe box is just having a little bit of a ripple issue right here, maybe because my kids step on my shoes, maybe because of the way I'm treating them, I don't know. But there is a little bit of disruption in the toe cap of the shoe, so that's kind of a bummer. I'd say the upper is pretty breathable as well. You do have little pockets of reinforcement here, and then also like back here. And the upper having a couple different layers, like that fish wire mesh that we see, and then like engineered mesh kind of mixed in. It's kind of a fun look, but maybe some people don't necessarily prefer it. Also, the tongue is pretty comfortable, but I noticed the shape overall just doesn't lay like perfectly on my foot. Maybe it's just because it's forked a little bit. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't feel the most comfortable out of the other options. And I noticed a little pilling from my socks here. Not a big deal, but something to notice. In summary, I'd say this is a really great option. If you like comfort sneakers and you like Nike, then obviously this is probably going to be your choice out of the 3 that I'm going to be showing you. So next up, we have probably my favorite one, to be honest, out of the 3. This is the New Balance Fresh Foam X 1080 V13. I have fallen in love with this model from the last 3 years. This is the latest and greatest one, and it does not disappoint. It is softer and squishier than any of the other versions of the 1080 line that I've tried in the last 4 years. Which means they reformulated the Fresh Foam X formula to make it even softer and squishier. I mean, some people might actually think this is too soft because you could see how malleable it is. It's just incredible. I personally love it. It's a nice soft feeling on foot. If you're looking for a nice soft cushion runner that isn't like too big of a stack of foam, this is like a nice daily runner in my opinion. A nice daily pair of sneakers, one that you can definitely wear on vacation if you're looking for a comfortable pair. Highly recommend this one, and it is the most expensive of the 3 at $165. But if you do get a pair of them and then you try them on and you guys can see that I'm like telling the truth, and leave a comment in the comment section. Come back to the video, please. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let other people know that I'm not just blowing smoke, because it really is that good. This is definitely far improved, much softer and squishier on feet than the V12. So if you have the V12s and you want something even better, softer, then this is going to be a really good option for you. It might be too soft for some people, but I personally just absolutely love it. I do like that they resculpted the midsole as well. I personally like the shape and the look of it. It is pretty stable overall as well. Like I don't feel like I'm going to roll an ankle when I wear these out and about. Also, the outsole traction is pretty good as well. I would say that the Nike traction is probably a little bit better, to be honest, because you can see it covers more ground, but it is a little bit softer rubber on the 1080 V13s, and I actually prefer this rubber because I think that it actually makes the midsole even more soft on feet. Could be wrong, but I do like the placement as well. It looks kind of like a claw on the side. Now the tongue is nicely padded, as you can see as well, and I actually prefer this tongue over the Vomero 17s just because, again, the Vomero 17 padded tongue just feels a little bit weird. Also, you do have a little bit of width in the heel section right here for comfort. So personally, again, I prefer the 1080 V13s better. It's just a little bit wider, and I actually like that little pillowy button right here on the back. And speaking of wide, they do offer wide and extra wide versions of this model. Personally, I have a little bit of a wide foot. I actually go with the true to size in Fresh Foam X from New Balance. For the Fuel Cell lines, though, I do go wide instead. So for this one, though, I do like getting the standard version. But for those wide footers out there, Wide Feet Gang, rejoice, because they do have wide and extra wide versions. Now, the engineered mesh is probably the most lackluster thing of the upper. I personally don't like this engineered mesh as much as I do like the Hypoknit from the last couple years. This feels just like a standard generic engineered mesh with a little bit of extra detailing, and I guess it's more reinforcement in certain zones, which is probably functional, but overall it doesn't feel overly premium. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, if you've had these for an extended period of time, and if you're surprised with how well the upper lasted, because I do like that it does look like there's some sections that are reinforced. I just think that overall it's kind of a step down from the more stretchier like Hypoknit, but some people didn't like the Hypoknit. They thought it was too thin, so maybe this was the right adjustment. I don't know. I do like also some added little reinforcement sections in the heel and also for the laces. And also this is the first time we've seen that N on the side that kind of just vanishes inside of the upper of the shoe, versus previous models had the N that was very pronounced. Could just be this colorway, but I do like this colorway the best out of the offerings. They don't have the best offerings, to be honest. That's one downside as well. New Balance doesn't really release a ton of different colorways for these models. They don't have any flashy, crazy, weird, wild prints or anything like that. For the most part, you get standard colors, and I always go with the black and white one every year, but some people don't really like the lack of variety. Excellent model overall, though, and I just did a Disney like vacation sneaker video, and this one would probably be at the top of the list. If I was to go again, this would be the one for sure that I'm going to be reaching for, just because of the improved midsole. It's so crazy good, and the overall balance in the shoe is just excellent as well. Something that I just can't get enough of. So we covered the Vomero 17, also the 1080 V13 from New Balance. Here's a look at the ASICS Gel Nimbus 25. This is a beefier model out of the group. You could see it really is max cushion. I mean, this thing is massive. Really crazy to see. I feel like this is the best option for overall max cushion if you are looking for that, because it is bigger than the others, as I already mentioned, but it's really felt quite well on this model as well. The way that they integrated the Pure Gel into the midsole as well as the FF Blast Plus, it really feels nice on feet, and not just in the heel strike, but also at the toe off, because you can see how thick of a midsole this is. It's just so massive, and you definitely feel the most cushioning in that versus this one. You feel a lot more in the heel, but not near as much in the toe off. This one, you actually feel quite a bit of cushion in the heel and the forefoot as well. And there's that perfect rocking sensation that I get from the 1080 V13s as well. I forgot to mention that. Absolutely love that. But the Nimbus 25 definitely has the most forefoot cushioning in my opinion. Also, I absolutely love the stretchy tongue on here as well. I feel like this might be my favorite tongue out of the three. So least favorite, second favorite, and then the most favorite because of how stretchy this knit tongue is. It's super nice. The downside, and I've mentioned this many times in the past, because this is sewn into the tongue, it's a little bit itchy right here on your foot. Hopefully the next version they don't have that, because it is kind of a miss. Other than that, it's an extremely nice tongue with a stretchy material. Also the liner, I really love this liner. It's so nice. It is probably my favorite liner out of the three as well. But then you do have this kind of tougher knit around the top for this covering. It doesn't usually rub into my ankles or anything like that, but it is an interesting pairing. I wouldn't think you actually need this extra material over top, but it is something to note that it is there and could be abrasive to some people. Now, the only other downside other than the upper on the ASICS and the tag right here is the forefoot gel. Sometimes it can kind of be a little bit of a nuisance, I guess. It definitely is something that you have to get used to, because it feels a little bumpy on the inside of your foot, on the forefoot specifically for me. Some people might not have that problem, but I definitely kind of noticed it. It's something that you just kind of get used to, and overall it's comfortable, but it is kind of like, oh, that's weird. I feel a little bit of a protrusion of sorts there. The upper is, again, pretty generic, like engineered mesh upper. I would probably say, to be honest, this is my least favorite of the three. The overall material is kind of meh to me. And then here is a look at the outsole traction. It's pretty decent as well. Like overall, I haven't had any issues with it. Again, side-by-side look for the New Balance, a little bit more open area down here in white. That is the Fresh Foam. You definitely have a lot of foam here, and then a couple different pads of the outsole traction. And then the Nike pair has a pretty large amount of traction. I think that overall traction, the Nikes actually might be the best out of the three. But the overall traction on both of the other models I think are actually pretty good as well. A little stickier than the Nike pair. So that's a quick overview of the pairs. But anyway, which of these three pairs would I cop if I could only have one? I mean, the reality is any of these three that you get, I have a feeling you're gonna like. Like, they're all pretty nice pairs of sneakers that you can get for that 160 price range. They're all very comfortable on feet. They all have some pros and some cons that I mentioned in the video. But all in all, like, it just depends on your preference and what you're looking for. The best all around with some decent squish, New Balance 1080 V13. That's also the latest and greatest version. I absolutely love this model. I can't say enough good things about it. It's the one that I go to on a constant basis year over year for a reason, and they've just made it that much better and that much softer for the new year. If you want more max cushion, then this one definitely has more cushion for the pushing. I don't think it is the best looking model. In fact, I think it's the ugliest model out of these three. Some people don't like the look of this one. I actually really like it. I'd say that overall aesthetics, this is the worst. This is the second best, and I do like the Vomero 17s the best aesthetic-wise from the three that I have out here. Now, all of these shoes, like people run in, obviously they're all running shoes. So for me personally, I don't really have a preference because I'm not a great runner. I don't necessarily like to do max cushion when I'm running. I do like the little pop and the feel and the springiness of this model right here, though, when I'm running around. But an easy runner, like this is just one of those ones, you're just going to go for a jog. Like, these things are cake. I do like that dual density setup of the Vomeros. Again, aesthetics I think look really good as well. And it is Nike. For those people that are just elitist Nike, only like Nike products, this one is incredible. If you're wanting to branch out and you don't care about which brand is which, I mean, New Balance is great, and then Asics Nimbus is also very good. I also know there is a new Novablast 4 that's going to be coming out that might be more in line than this model with these other two out here, so just throwing that out there. But overall, if I had to just choose one, I would go New Balance 1080 V13, absolute crown for me personally. Next up, I actually really do like this model a lot, and it's not as soft and squishy and as max cushion as the others, but it is really comfortable on feet as well. More comfortable than most of the Nikes out there, with exception of the Invincible run, in my opinion. Even better than the Infinities. And then in third place, but still like an amazing, amazing shoe, the Asics Gel Nimbus 25s. I would say your feet are going to be happy in any of these shoes. But leave a comment in the comment section. Have you guys tried 1, 2, or 3 of these? Leave some pros and cons in the comment section for other people if you have a pair and you have your own feedback to leave them, because it's valuable, and I appreciate you all for leaving it. Thank you guys again for stopping by and watching. If you guys want to buy any of these 3 sneakers that I showed you guys, again, please use my links in the description. It directly supports the channel, and greatly appreciate when you guys do that. Have a good rest of the day, though, and hopefully see you back for some more videos. Peace, guys.